The Galactic Empire tried to intimidate humans. We just laughed. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when the massive ships appeared in Earth's skies. They came without warning, their dark metal hulls blocking the sun over major cities worldwide. People stopped in the streets looking up with wide eyes, not in terror but with curiosity and amazement. Admiral Jin of the Galactic Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth's cities through the viewscreen. He had conquered 17 worlds before this, and each time the pattern was the same. Show overwhelming force, demand surrender, and watch the primitive species crumble. This time would be no different. Send the message, he ordered his communications officer Hyun. Within minutes, every screen on Earth, televisions, phones, computers, billboards, displayed the same image. Admiral Jin's stern face, framed by his ornate military uniform adorned with medals. "People of Earth," he began, voice deep and commanding. "I am Admiral Jin of the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. You have 24 hours to surrender your governments and pledge loyalty to Emperor Sun. Resistance is pointless and will be met with destruction." He expected panic, chaos, perhaps even immediate surrender. Instead, within an hour, his image was everywhere on Earth's digital networks, but not as he intended. Humans had added funny captions to his serious face. "When you order pizza and they forget the cheese. That moment when you realize you left the space oven on. Aliens travel light years just to give us homework." "What are they doing?" Jin asked, bewildered. "Don't they understand we can destroy their cities with a single command?" Dr. Yuna Park, Earth's hastily appointed diplomat, requested communication with the flagship. When her face appeared on the view screen, Jin was surprised to see her smiling. "Admiral Jin, welcome to Earth," she said pleasantly, as if greeting a tourist. "We're very interested in learning about your empire. Perhaps we could meet to discuss your proposal? We have excellent coffee." Jin frowned. "This is not a proposal. It is a demand." "Of course," Dr. Park nodded, still smiling. "Would tomorrow morning work for you? Say around 10 a.m.? The Admiral ended the transmission, turning to his chief cultural advisor, Min. "They don't seem afraid," Jin said, confused. Min studied the data flowing across his screen. "Humans are responding with something they call memes. It appears to be a form of communication using humor to process threats." Humor? In the face of extinction? Jin couldn't comprehend it. Below the ship, something even stranger was happening. Instead of hiding in their homes, humans were gathering in parks and open spaces. Some brought chairs and food, making picnics, while they watched the ships. Others took selfies with the warships in the background. News channels weren't reporting panic, but were instead holding special programs with titles like Alien Fashion Review and Rate That Spaceship 10 Things We Love About Our New Visitors. The next morning, when Jin and his delegation landed for the scheduled meeting, they were met not by trembling officials, but by a smiling delegation led by Dr. Park. Behind them stood a crowd of curious onlookers holding signs that read, "Welcome, aliens and will trade memes for space technology." "What is wrong with these people?" Jin whispered to Min. "I'm not sure," Min replied, watching as someone in the crowd held up a sign with Jin's face and the words, "Grumpy Space Grandpa," written underneath. "But I think our usual tactics may not work here." Dr. Park approached with an extended hand. "Admiral Jin, welcome to Earth. We've prepared a cultural exchange program for you and your crew. Would you like to try a donut first? They're quite delicious." Jin stared at the small, sweet-smelling ring she offered. This was not how conquests were supposed to go. No one had ever offered him pastries before demanding his planet's surrender. As the first day of Earth's invasion ended, Jin sent a confused message back to Emperor Sun. Humans responding with humor. Request new intimidation protocols. They appear to be enjoying this. After the first day's unexpected reception, Admiral Jin retreated to his flagship to regroup. The Empire had never encountered a species that responded to intimidation with jokes. He needed to understand these humans before proceeding with conquest. "Send for cultural specialist Minho," Jin ordered. "We need to understand why our standard approach is failing." Specialist Minho arrived the next day, a slender man with intelligent eyes who had studied 17 other conquered civilizations. After reviewing Earth's broadcasts and internet traffic for 24 hours, he requested an urgent meeting. "Humans are unusual," Minho explained, displaying data on the ship's main screen. "They evolved on what can only be described as a death planet." "Explain?" demanded Jin. "Their wildlife can kill them. They have creatures called mosquitoes that have killed more humans than all their wars combined. Their weather kills them. Storms, floods, freezing cold. Even their planet itself attacks them with earthquakes and volcanoes." Minho swiped through images of natural disasters. "And yet they survived all this. They developed something called humor as a defense mechanism." Jin frowned. "How does making jokes defend against anything?" "It's psychological," Minho said. "When humans laugh at danger, they reduce its power over them. It's how they've survived. Their brutal environment, they literally laugh in the face of death. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans had started a new trend: alien costume parties. People dressed in homemade versions of the imperial uniforms they'd seen on screens. Social media was flooded with these images, along with dance videos mimicking the stiff way the aliens walked. Jin decided a stronger demonstration was needed. He ordered the destruction of an uninhabited island as a show of force. The imperial weapons turned a small Pacific island into nothing but steam and ash in seconds. Instead of terror, humans organized viewing parties. News channels rated the explosion on visual impact and special effects quality. One popular host gave it 8 out of 10 stars, impressive, but lacking diversity in color palette. President Kang of the United World Council requested a meeting with Admiral Jin. The admiral expected to finally receive Earth's surrender. "Your demonstration was quite impressive," President Kang said calmly when they met in a neutral location. "Our scientists are very interested in the technology." "It wasn't meant to interest your scientists," Jin replied coldly. "It was meant to show what awaits your cities if you don't surrender." President Kang smiled. "Admiral, perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot. Have you tried our food yet? We've prepared a selection of dishes from around the world." Jin was baffled as servants brought in plates of colorful food. "You're offering me dinner while I threaten your world?" "Breaking bread together is an ancient human custom," explained Kang. "We find it helps with understanding." That evening, Jin called an emergency meeting with his officers. "They invited me to something called a barbecue tomorrow," he said, confused. "After I vaporized an island," Minho nodded thoughtfully. "I've been studying their literature. Humans have a long history of using humor and hospitality as resistance. When faced with overwhelming threats, they often respond with what they call defiant joy." "But how do we conquer a species that won't take our threats seriously?" asked Jin. "I'm not certain we can," Minho admitted. "Not with our usual methods, the Mo." Next day, humans launched a new television show called So You Think You Can Conquer Earth, where contestants proposed increasingly absurd plans for befriending the aliens. The winner would get to join the diplomatic team. When informed of this development, Jin stared out his viewport at the blue planet below. "I was told this would be a simple conquest," he said quietly. "No one mentioned they would try to make friends with us instead." Admiral Jin stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at Earth with growing frustration. 2 weeks had passed since their arrival, and instead of conquering the planet, they had become a global entertainment sensation. "The humans have launched another television program about us," reported Communications Officer Tay. "This one is called Cooking for Aliens, where they try to guess what foods we might enjoy." Jin slammed his fist on the control panel. "Enough. If humor is their defense, then we must strike so dramatically that even they cannot laugh it away." Turned to his weapons officer. "Target their moon base. It's uninhabited but represents their greatest technological achievement. Destroy it." The massive Imperial weapon charged with a low hum that grew steadily louder. When it fired, a brilliant beam cut through space, striking the small research station on the moon's surface. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface, a bright flash followed by a cloud of debris. Jin waited for panic to spread across Earth. Instead, within hours, viewing parties formed in parks and on rooftops. People brought telescopes to watch the moon. Someone created a drinking game. Take a sip whenever you see floating debris catch the sunlight. They're treating it like a fireworks display, Tay said in disbelief. The next morning, Earth's response came in the form of an invitation. The United World Council requested that Admiral Jin attend a special event at their headquarters. Curious despite his anger, Jin agreed. When he arrived with his guards, he found the building decorated with streamers and filled with people in festive clothes. "What is this?" he demanded when President Kang greeted him. "We're launching a new initiative today," Kang explained cheerfully. "Since you seem determined to impress us with your technology, we've created a scoring system. Yesterday's moonblast scored an 8.5 for visual impact, but only a 6 for originality." A large screen behind them displayed these scores along with detailed breakdowns from judges. "You're rating our attacks?" Jin was speechless. "Of course. And we're live streaming this to your fleet," Kang continued. "We thought your crews might enjoy seeing how they're doing." Jin learned that humans across the planet had indeed organized a complex rating system for the Empire's displays of force. Categories included visual spectacle, technical execution, originality, and dramatic timing. Meanwhile, Earth's scientists had been busy. Dr. Su, head of Earth's defense technology, approached Jin with a tablet showing detailed schematics. "We've been analyzing your weapon systems," she said casually. "Quite impressive energy conversion rates, though. Your thermal management seems inefficient. We've drafted some possible improvements." She handed him the tablet. "Just some friendly suggestions." Jin stared at the schematics in shock. The humans had reverse-engineered aspects of Imperial technology, just by observing it in action. That evening, Jin received an urgent message from Emperor Sun, who had been watching the situation unfold through reports. "These humans are dangerous," the Emperor wrote. "Not because they can defeat us militarily, but because they are immune to fear. If they can laugh at destruction, what will stop them from spreading this attitude to other worlds under our control?" Jin looked out at Earth glowing blue in the viewport, a planet that responded to threats with jokes, to destruction with rating systems, and to superior technology with helpful suggestions for improvement. "We need a new approach," he told his officers. "Traditional conquest methods won't work here." Specialist Minho nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps instead of trying to make them fear us, we should try to understand why they don't." As Jin pondered this suggestion, screens across Earth displayed a new trending topic: Imperial Fashion Week, where designers revealed clothing inspired by the aliens' uniforms, but with better color coordination and more comfortable fabrics. After a month of failed intimidation tactics, Admiral Jin faced a new problem. Humans had launched what they called Operation Friendly Neighbor, a coordinated effort that wasn't resistance in any traditional sense. Earth's broadcasting stations began transmitting human entertainment directly to the Imperial ships. Cooking, shows, comedies, music, and documentaries about Earth flooded the Empire's communication systems. At first, Jin ordered his crew to ignore these transmissions, but soon discovered his officers watching these programs during their rest periods. "They're learning about us while entertaining us," Minho explained. "It's a brilliant strategy. Our crews are becoming fascinated with human culture." Jin noticed crew members using human expressions, discussing Earth food they wanted to try, and even mimicking human gestures. When he investigated further, he found unauthorized cultural exchange meetings happening throughout the fleet. "Half our engineers are watching something called How It's Made," reported Security Chief Sung. "And the medical staff is obsessed with their cooking competitions." Meanwhile on Earth, Dr. Yuna Park had proposed a bold plan to the United World Council. Instead of fighting the Empire or surrendering to it, she suggested offering Earth as special consultants, rather than subjects. "The Empire clearly lacks innovation," she explained. "They use the same conquest pattern for every world. We can offer creativity and fresh perspectives, things they clearly value given how they've studied our responses." The Council approved her plan, and Dr. Park requested a formal meeting with Admiral Jin. When they met in the grand hall of the World Council building, Jin was surprised to find not a negotiation table, but comfortable seating arranged in a circle. "What is this setup?" he asked suspiciously. "We call it a round-table discussion," Dr. Park explained. "It means no one person sits at the head. Everyone has equal input." Jin frowned. "But I represent the Empire. I should be in the position of power. On Earth, the most powerful position is often the one that listens most effectively," Dr. Park replied with a smile. The meeting proceeded unlike any diplomatic exchange in Imperial history. Instead of demands and concessions, humans asked questions about the Empire's struggles and challenges. They offered solutions to Imperial problems Jin hadn't even mentioned. "Our records show your Empire has been fighting resource wars on its outer boundaries for decades," said Council Member Han. "We've developed efficient recycling technologies that might help." Jin was stunned. "How do you know about our resource wars?" "We have excellent pattern recognition," Dr. Park explained. "And your ship's waste emissions tell us a lot about your manufacturing capabilities." While this meeting took place, something even more significant was happening across the Empire. 17 subjugated species had been receiving Earth's broadcast too. They watched as humans responded to Imperial threats with humor and creativity rather than fear. A resistance leader named June from the planet Kepler sent a secret message to Earth. "We've been fighting the Empire for generations and failing. Your approach is different. Will you teach us?" By the time Jin returned to his flagship, messages from other worlds were flooding in, all asking the same question. How do humans resist without fighting? That evening, Jin sent a troubled message to Emperor Sun. "The humans are not surrendering, but they're not fighting either. They're befriending us, and worse, they're talking to our other subjects. I fear they are more dangerous than we initially thought." Emperor Sun's response was immediate. "Return with your fleet. We must reassess." Jin looked out at Earth once more. "Prepare for departure," he ordered, then added quietly, "but download the rest of those cooking shows first." For strategic analysis, 6 months after Admiral Jin departed Earth with his fleet, a new ship appeared in orbit. This one was different, smaller, with elegant lines and adorned with symbols of peace from 17 worlds. It carried Emperor Sun himself, along with representatives from across the Galactic Empire. On the grounds of the rebuilt United World Council headquarters, Emperor Sun faced President Kang and Dr. Park. The meeting was broadcast across Earth and to thousands of worlds throughout the galaxy. "Humans of Earth," Emperor Sun began formally. "After careful consideration, we have decided to offer you one final opportunity to join our empire as equals." The gathered crowd remained silent, waiting. This wasn't the usual Imperial ultimatum, but it still carried the echo of conquest. Dr. Park stepped forward. "Emperor Sun, we appreciate your journey here today. Instead of discussing terms of Earth joining your empire, we'd like to invite you to participate in something we've organized. We call it the First Intergalactic Peace Festival." Emperor Sun frowned. "A festival? This is a diplomatic matter of the highest importance. And what better way to conduct diplomacy than through cultural understanding?" President Kang replied with a smile. "The festival begins this evening. We hope you'll attend." That night, Earth showed the Empire what human celebration truly meant. 17 Earth cities hosted simultaneous events, each paired with representatives from one of the Empire's subject worlds. Music, food, art, and performances flowed freely between species that had once been separated by Imperial hierarchy. Emperor Sun watched with growing interest as humans mingled easily with beings from across the galaxy, teaching them Earth dances and learning alien songs in return. "They're not afraid of differences," he remarked to Admiral Jin, who stood beside him. "No," Jin agreed. "They celebrate them." During the festival, something unprecedented occurred. Representatives from 7 formerly conquered worlds approached Earth's leaders with a request. They wanted to form a new alliance, with Earth as a founding member. "Your species showed us that resistance doesn't require violence," said Representative Junho of Kepler. "You've given us hope that there's another way." When Emperor Sun learned of these discussions, he called for an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. To his surprise, they invited him to join them, rather than demanding he stop the rebellion. "The old ways of conquest are inefficient, Doctor," Park explained gently. "Look how much energy your empire spends maintaining control through fear. What if cooperation could achieve more with less effort?" Emperor Sun had ruled through intimidation for centuries, yet here was a species that had rendered that approach completely ineffective. More concerning, they were spreading this immunity to fear throughout his empire. After 3 days of intense discussions, Emperor Sun made an announcement that shocked the galaxy. The Galactic Empire will transition to a galactic alliance of free worlds. 1 year later, the former Imperial Palace hosted the first meeting of the new Galactic Council, with representatives from all worlds, including Earth, having equal votes. The Empire's weapons of mass destruction were repurposed for peaceful uses like asteroid mining and space exploration. In a quiet moment during the celebrations, Admiral Jin approached Dr. Park. "I still don't fully understand," he admitted. "How did you defeat us without firing a single shot?" Dr. Park smiled. "We didn't defeat you. We simply showed you a better alternative. Fear divides, but laughter connects. In the end, connection is always stronger." As the celebration continued around them, former Emperor Sun could be seen attempting his first human smile, still awkward, but genuine. The end.